Courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes courage is a trembling voice speaking anyway, and in doing so, helping others find and speak their own truth too. Welcome to Spiritual Geography. I'm Joni Miller. I'm not a particularly courageous person. I've often stayed quiet when I could have spoken, and taken the easier path when the harder one asked more of me. Fear and I know each other well. But there have been moments when something inside me whispered, "Not this time." Moments when the cost of silence grew heavier than the fear of speaking. I didn't feel brave in those moments, nor strong. I felt shaky, exposed, and vulnerable. Today I want to talk about growing courage, not as a sudden transformation, but as a dawning awareness, a stirring inside us when loyalty to what matters most becomes louder than fear. This pattern, this struggle between fear and truth, isn't just in you and me. Psychologists have found it again and again. Most people stay silent not because they don't care. They stay silent because they think they're the only one who feels or thinks the way they do. Group conformity is a powerful motivator. In the 1950s, psychologist Solomon Asch found that people would often conform to a group's wrong answer, even when they knew better, just to avoid standing out. But when just one other person dared to dissent, conformity dropped dramatically. That single voice didn't just speak, it gave others permission to trust what they already knew. In the 1960s, Stanley Milgram, a student of Asch's, showed how easily people obey authority, even when it violates their conscience. But Milgram found something else, too. When participants saw another person refuse to obey, their own willingness to go along plummeted. And the same pattern holds true outside the lab. Researchers studying the bystander effect found that people hesitate to help in emergencies, not because they don't care, but because they're waiting for a signal. When one person steps forward, others follow. Courage is contagious, but it often starts small. And here's what we often overlook. Even when our act of courage feels small, even when our voice shakes and we doubt ourselves, something powerful happens when we act. Like a tuning fork struck in still air, our trembling truth can awaken resonance in others who have been waiting silently for someone to go first. When you show up with integrity, with your truth spoken in love, you can awaken others who have been quietly holding the same questions, the same longings, and the same fragile convictions. Courage isn't a character trait, it's a practice, a thing that grows even in delicate soil, growing when silence becomes too costly to bear. We see this in moments of history, too, when a single quiet act, born not out of great ambition, but of personal truth, awakens something waiting. in a whole community. Like Rosa Parks. Rosa Parks is often remembered as the woman whose single act of defiance sparked the Montgomery bus boycott and helped ignite the civil rights movement. But the truth is more complicated and even more beautiful. Rosa Parks wasn't the first Black woman arrested for refusing to give up her seat on a segregated bus. Others had bravely challenged the law before her, but their cases hadn't gained momentum. Parks was deeply involved in the movement already. She had trained in civil disobedience. She knew the risks. And yet, when the moment came, she didn't act because she saw herself as a symbol or a leader. She acted because she was tired. Not tired from work, as the story sometimes says, but tired of giving in to injustice. Her arrest wasn't isolated, but it was the spark that found ready kindling. Within days, a new movement gathered around her, a year-long bus boycott organized by people who had been waiting for the right moment, the right note of resonance to stand behind. Eventually, the Supreme Court struck down segregation on public buses. But it all began with a woman who didn't feel brave, who didn't think she was doing something extraordinary, who simply reached a moment when the cost of silence, the cost of submission, had become too much. And when she spoke, by staying seated, her quiet act sent a pulse outward, awakening the courage in others, a fire that needed to be stoked before it emerged. That's how courage grows, not just in you, but in those who see your actions and hear your words. You don't have to be fearless. You don't have to become someone else. We don't find courage by erasing fear. We find it when something inside us becomes too precious to betray. And when one trembling voice sounds its truth, it doesn't just free itself. It sends a pulse outward, awakening others who have been waiting to remember who they were all along. We don't understand the mysteries of the universe, but we can grow more love. Love for ourselves, love for others, and love for the infinite mystery that lays beyond our understanding. Thank you for tuning in.